Are you recording, Nuggets? Drew? No? Okay. I guess, well, hopefully you guys had a decent day. I mean, I think it was a difficult day to trade. I mean, when you guys look at the 30 minutes auction this morning, it was difficult. And then, of course, they had the pump around 1 o'clock, and ever since then, they've been kind of running all the way up. What they did leave behind, if you guys kind of zoom in and make this a little bit bigger here, I'll make it 4 so you guys can see it. It's clearly what? Can you guys see it without me pointing it out?
Double distribution.
It's a pretty nice one, right? So you have this, and then you have a lower distribution. It's a little bit wider, right? What you want to make out of this, right, and what you want to understand is you really don't have to fight the trend. So tomorrow they have, not they, we have FMOC. So if you're not familiar, you're going back, back to back with some major news, right? First being the election today, the results, and then tomorrow you're coming to FMOC, which is not to be taken lightly. If you haven't traded this before, probably the best is to kind of sit out. But when you zoom out here just for a moment, right, and if you look at the weekly profiles, I'll come back to the daily. This was our previous all-time high, sitting in 925. If this is let's say this is a real breakout, right, and it's aggressive as it looked today, what should they not break tomorrow?
Previous all-time high.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't go inside the previous all-time high. And when you look at the volume on the daily, I mean, this is a pretty bullish candle, guys. And the volume also kind of checks out here, right? It's a major break of a previous all-time high, but decent volume. So I wouldn't try to fade this at all costs. Like a lot of people are trying to time the top. Your job is really not to time the top. I would really watch out for that double distribution entry tomorrow. If they do give it to us, that's great. I wouldn't expect a lot in the beginning of the day. There might be a move, before 10:30, and then 10:30 to about 2 is gonna be pretty boring. And I would suggest that a lot of you guys just kind of look away. Don't try to trade it because you might regret that shortly after that. So for me, the most important is first, can they hold this single print, right? So if you guys look here, right, and you can kind of see this on the candles as well. When the candles don't have overlap of the price action, right? One candle pops and it leaves this basically the single print area that's highlighted in green. I'm watching for that tomorrow. If we are able to auction, let's say we lose this and go below it, what is that telling you?
Rejection of the upper distribution.
Upper distribution is not being accepted, and then you got to watch to see if we dip below. If they pump again immediately, then it's telling you, hey, we also don't think it's here. Then it becomes kind of like a tug of war, right? They're just gonna push between. But ultimately, the first rejection here, if they do this, I would honestly target all the way to the bottom here. You would have this level here to watch out for, which is the previous all-time high, but then ultimately you're coming to the bottom of these single prints and the PD value area low at 908. And then right below that, you would have that gap start, right? This was the gap low, and then it's a pretty massive gap, guys. I mean, you're talking about what, 78 points on a gap? That's that's not typically a normal behavior, but I guess anything's possible. So this is what I'm gonna be playing tomorrow, and if this plays out before FMOC, I'll take it, but I will not try to time or figure out what they're gonna do during the FMOC. It's probably not the best that a lot of you play it, because there's gonna be a little bit of whipsaw. Go up, get the liquidity, grab it. Because probably a lot of people got destroyed today, so tomorrow might be one of those days where they don't do much and just collect the premium. Right, so the dealers also don't like trend days, as you guys know. The locals like trading sideways because they get a lot of transactions, right? And they're able to sell it and buy it back and sell it back. Here it's really difficult, right, to do that. So they're probably upside down a little bit, I would think, from today. So watch out for, can they hold this? If they hold the top distribution somewhere here, if they are able to stay in this zone on top, let's say yellow, that's bullish. If they crack below this one, then they're willing to trade in the bottom distribution of this double distribution day on a trend day, right? So I would watch for this one then to become effective. And honestly, this is probably enough points for a lot of you guys to make a living, right? You're talking about 34 points. Even if you target in between from here to here, you could make what, 16 points, 18 points, which is not bad. Does that make sense?
Yes.
In terms
Yep.
of, next targets and fibs, so you could do that multiple ways, right? And one that I would rely on is you have this swing high to swing low, and that's something I would use to figure out the next levels, right? So here's your 127, and that's at 80, and then 60.49 would be there as well. And then a lot of times, excuse me, people like to take the 200% of this and make that, I guess it's already there, make that the ultimate target of this range. So that would be the 100% of this move right here. So if you take this and basically copy it from here to here, that's what you get right here, 6125. And then the 1618 is around 60.49, 650. But you know that 6,000 round number is going to be pretty important, right? Because it can drive a lot of news and media. Trump wins, we got the election, and so on. So I would watch out, for any rejection out of the value higher that we're most likely headed towards, say, 80, and then it would be the 6,000 somewhere around here, and then 60.49 would be the ultimate target. They should not lose the 25. That would be a very dangerous level for them to lose. Any questions? This one?
Can you go over the 25 again? The significance of that?
Yeah. So I mean, think about this. When the market was, stalling, when we previously came here, you see that we reached that 25 here, and that's where the market kind of returned, and then you started a framing down, a day after, right, on Monday the 21st. So this was your high. This is where the auction ended, and they said we don't have any more buyers to take us higher. So that's important because now, of course, we gapped and then we pushed through that level with a lot more volume. So if you go on a daily candle, right, that's a pretty nice, candle with a lot of volume. So basically they said, okay, we're ready to go higher. So this level becomes super important for potentially a move, higher, but they have to hold that because if they accepted the value, think about it, we were in range here for some time. So if you see here, this was basically you're in a range, and you see here. So let me give you this picture, see if it makes sense. So you went here, you got rejected in this zone, right? And you got rejected here. Then you got inside, and you set the high here as well. And you can say, if you wanted to play this box perfectly, would have been here, but this is the all-time high at 25. This is, I believe, RTH. I think we hit 31 overnight one time, but I don't know. But now, if you're able to shift the value from here to go higher, well, when you should not encroach back, because that would mean that this is a rejection here on value. We need to build value above it now to proceed to the next targets. If you fall back inside, then this breakout candle and acceptance of value here does not exist above it, meaning that there's no net new buyers. They did not find value to go higher. So most likely they would auction back to 57.25. Does that make sense?
Absolutely perfect sense. Yeah, I just didn't scroll back far enough. I thought you were talking about just from today, but yeah, I see exactly the previous breakout level. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's important because this was our high of this range, and now, for what it's worth, right? There's a massive gap and there's volume. So now the value obviously shifted higher, but we need to see if we can hold that. They should not crack this level. I would say they should definitely not crack this level tomorrow. If they do, then we know that there's some stuff to be followed. And I would say Jay Powell or all these Fed speakers tomorrow really have a tough job to figure out what the hell they should do. I wouldn't want to be their shoes tomorrow. So it'll be really, really interesting what they do.
And Shorty, spike is in play as well, right?
Yeah, I think it was a small one, right? I think it was like a few points.
Yeah.
I think it was like 4, if I remember, or less. Let's see. Yeah, it was a tiny one. Yeah, 4 points. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely pay attention to it, but it wasn't that big of a spike, I would say.
Yeah.
It came back immediately, and if they really wanted to send this, which I thought they would, they really should have gone to the IBX 2L today. So today, when I was talking about the levels, I think that it's right here where I wanted them to go. But that spike, they should have pushed that higher, but I guess there was not enough power, and I don't know where they are after hours. Okay, they're below the spike. Now, this is about to drop lower, guys. This is about to drop a little bit more. Yeah, this is about to drop. It's gonna go here at 54 next 5 minutes or less. Alright guys, I'll trade live tomorrow. I just didn't think I hate trading gaps like that. Of 70 points, I just take what I can, and it's really not valuable to even talk about it. But I took some trades with you guys, some longs, some of them worked, some shorts that worked quickly. I'm not trying to be a contrarian in the market, but sometimes when you see the delta and liquidity below, it's much easier for me to spot where they have to go back, and I switch, right? I go short, and I switched to long today as well, twice. Took short, and I planned to switch it. So a few points here and there added up, and it was a decent payday for me as well. And this is going to 54, yeah. Alright guys, we'll see you guys. And if you're new to the Discord, I did post that we're gonna have a class Sunday covering 3 topics. I might change out one of the topics because I have to readjust my portfolio as well. So I might do a stock scan as well. So we'll see how the time goes, but anticipate that we're gonna do a stock scan Sunday. I really have a large amount of cash sitting, and I need to look for opportunities to deploy it.
Sounds good.
Alrighty guys.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty. Thank you. Bye.